Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Dr. Arnold Nerenberg, licensed to practice as a clinical psychologist in the state of California since 1974. Some of you are watching this weren't born then. That's how long I've been in practice here. But I've been in practice overall over 50 years. And it's my pleasure, my privilege, my enjoyment to be able to meet with you and present this to you. Let me tell you my real intention. My intention is to uplift you and your descendants for the rest of your lives, to give you the knowledge about honor, the teachings of honor, that's going to transform your lives. That's truly what my intention is. Not just to have an impact on you just for short term, but for the rest of your lives. Now, there's a little trick to what I'm doing. The information is one thing, but really it's an energy, a vibration, a love that I send out, and coupled with my intention that will mix with your identity so that you become you plus some of me, because I'm a lot older than you, so I want to give you some years of experience without having to go through those experiences. That's really my intention. The title of today's presentation is Honor on the Streets. Honor on the Streets. I've given many lectures about the nature of honor, the 4 commandments of honor, the 25 laws of honor, the bridge, the supremacy of honor code. Many lectures where that material is there. And I'm defining honor as loyalty to your highest constructive values as enshrined in the 4 commandments of honor, while striving to cause no harm, emotionally or physically. Give you some examples, then I'm going to give you ways to have this happen on the streets, whether you're driving a car, walking down the street, wherever you are outside. And once you have honor on the streets, you can have people who are very nice. In fact, Disney made a video of Goofy, who was an ideal citizen, a sweetheart of a guy. He got behind a car and became demonic, just angry and cutting people off and yelling at them. So that's dishonor on the street. So you see a lot of it on the roads, but I mean, it's anyway. You could be walking by somebody, you could be standing in line at a grocery store and somebody's cut in front of you or they're rude, whatever. Honor on the streets. So I'm going to tell you a story about Stephen. So Stephen's a disciple of honor, and he had a temper. In any case, one day, he's going on this road. It's one way, the way he's going. Well, somebody was coming the other way, and the person, I guess, didn't know it, and started cursing at him. I mean, going up his out the window and just cursing him out. And Stephen said, "Hey, you are cursing at me. I wish you well," which is one of the commandments of honor, the 4 commandments of honor. I wish you well. And Stephen's 17-year-old son was sitting right there, so it was really a role model of him. The other guy looked totally flabbergasted. And then when the other guy saw he was going the wrong way on a one-way street, he apologized to Stephen. He said, "Hey, I'm so sorry, bro. I apologize," and backed out. Well, that's a legacy. That guy will never forget that he's cursed the guy out on the streets, and the guy wished him well. He's never going to forget that, ever. Stephen will never forget that, and guess what? Stephen's son's never going to forget it. That's a role model for him to say, "Gee, Dad," rather than getting upset, because he knows his dad had a temper, wish the guy well. There's an example. Then, I had a patient, he's a disciple of honor, and he gave my secretary a really hard time. It was kind of nasty, actually. And I said to him when I saw him, he came in person one day, and I said, "Hey, you really were disrespectful to my secretary." He said, "No, I didn't do that. You know me," because I did know this guy for a long time. I said, "All right." Well, a few days later, he texts me, says, "I apologize, I was rude. Please continue to work with me." And I said, "Well, you apologize to me, that's great, but if you could call my secretary and apologize to her, that's even better." Well, he said, basically, honor before pride. It's a little embarrassing for him. Honor before pride is actually part of the supremacy of honor code. There's a lot of material on that, a lot of videos on that. Honor before pride. He actually called her and apologized to her. She was amazed. And I told him how proud I was of him. So the fact that he was disrespectful was totally dwarfed by his apology, his humility, his dedication to honor. So We can all say this. It's a good saying, and I recommend it to you. I have not always lived with honor, but I will die with honor. It's a powerful thing to cross that line in a bad way and then repent. And that repentance is beautiful. He repented. And so not only is it's not a bad memory, it's actually a good memory for me, for him, and for my secretary. The whole thing became a good memory, quotable as I am reporting it to you now. Now, there was a situation one day. I was going to Trader Joe's. I was on my motorcycle. The guy was collecting the carts. He was pushing them along. And I was very far from him. I wasn't close. I wasn't a threat. And he said, "Hey, don't you have brakes on that motorcycle?" As if he was thinking I was going to crash into him or the carts. And I felt insulted, to be honest with you. I was offended by it. So I went, parked my motorcycle, came out, and he was still in the parking lot. I went up to him and I said, "Hey." He said, "Yeah." So I want to apologize that I apologize for what happened. He said, "Oh, you think I made his day?" He just lit up and he said, "Oh no, I just was concerned about you getting hurt, whatever," which I don't think he was concerned about that. But whatever it was didn't matter. It made his day. And I apologize, which is one of the laws of honor. I apologize, please forgive me. And I'm going to talk more about that. Then there was a situation. We were in a parking lot, and my wife and I got out. There was a spot right next to us. I got out because my stepson was following us, and I stood there saving it for him, which probably you shouldn't do. But I didn't think of it at the time because I didn't want him to get lost. So a car pulls up, wanted that spot, and he said, "Hey, what are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm saving it for my stepson." He said, "You can't do that. Get out of the way." And of course, he was right, but at the time, I didn't think in those terms. And these were two big guys, let me tell you. They were not intimidated by me at all. But in any case, I walked up to them. He rolled down his window further. I looked at him, and I said, "Please forgive me." He actually laughed. He said, "Oh, hell, we'll just get another spot." They took off, not out of fear of me, just because I said, "Please forgive me." I think it was very baffling to him. Now I have another person who was a disciple of honor. He was driving in this area, and another car turned the corner, and they scraped. So he wasn't sure whether she came across and hit his car or whether he crossed the line and hit her car. They pulled over, and he said, "Well, the most honorable thing to do is to offer to take responsibility." So he said, "Look, I'll pay for the damage to your car, get an estimate, whatever." And she got the estimate, and he paid her because he felt it was more honorable for him to take responsibility because it could have been his fault. He wasn't sure it was his fault. It could have been his fault. He paid for it. He was a disciple of honor. He took the pledge to the way of honor for life. Now, I'm considered America's road rage therapist. I have many, many videos on road rage. What triggers off road rage is endangerment, somebody cutting you off, somebody tailgating, somebody taking your parking spot, and someone wanted to just teach you a lesson for going through a red light or something. Those are the four most common causes of road rage. People really angry driving. By angry driving, I mean where they express their anger to you in an overt manner through yelling obscenities, beeping the horn, flicking the headlights up and down, whatever. Those are the cure. Those are the cues, the stimulus that will cause road rage. The most important one is endangerment, cutting you off. The second one is tailgating, both of which are dangerous. So dealing with honor on the street, this is literally on the streets, it's on the roads, the highways, the freeways, would be realizing that, well, first, let me elaborate a little bit. A lot of people take that personally. This guy almost killed me. I got a son, you endangered my son, me, and they really feel justified. And When it gets to felonious angry driving, they ram the person, they shoot them, they follow them and assault them. I mean, there are plenty of cases of that. But to be honorable in that situation, there's what I call one of the laws of honor, which is, I refuse to allow you to control my anger ever. I refuse to allow you to control my anger ever. Because why do I say that? If I say to people, do you want to turn control over to just anybody? It doesn't matter whether they're 17 or 107 or 77. Let any one of them make you into a raving lunatic. How many of you want to give that control to these people you're calling idiots on the road? Nobody raises their hand. How many of you want to keep the control for yourself? Everybody will say, yeah, I want to keep that control for myself. By the way, that's the cure for road rage. It's the only way to get people to buy into overcoming this. If you tell people, don't do that, it's dangerous. Don't do that, it's discourteous. Don't do that, it's wrong. It won't stop anybody. I'm serious. It took me years to find that that's the cue, because when you say to somebody, when somebody has a road rage problem, guess what? They don't look at road rage as a problem. They say, Doc, why are you talking to me? If it wasn't for those idiots out there, I wouldn't have to get angry. So they blame the other drivers. So then I said, well, do you want to turn control over your anger to just those people you're calling idiots? Nobody wants to do that. You want to keep the control for yourself. Yeah, so here's the law of honor to address that. I refuse to allow you to control my anger ever. Now, these thoughts I'm giving you, the laws of honor, the commandments of honor, some of the supremacy of honor code, you got to be repeating these 3 times a day for this to work, for a lifetime. And there's a pledge you take, but they're just giving you some ones that are really tailor-made for honor on the street. I refuse to allow you to control my anger ever. And then a good follow-up is one of the 4 commandments of honor, which is I wish you well. I refuse to allow you to control my anger ever. I wish you well. It doesn't mean all your anger is going to go away right away, no, but you're not indulging it, you're not acting it out. And as a result, you'll get negative less and less often. That's what's going to happen. Now, I told you the one where I was in that parking lot reserving a space, which was wrong as I look back on it. And I said, please forgive me. So one of the laws of honor goes a little further. This is going to help you with your marriage, with your boyfriend, your girlfriend, with your boss, with your coworkers, with your friends. I apologize, please forgive me. I apologize, please forgive me. Or if you really want to extend it, I apologize, I was wrong, you were right, please forgive me. Sometimes you can't even see that that's totally true, so you just go, I apologize, please forgive me. But when you can see you're wrong, you go, I apologize, I was wrong, you were right, please forgive me. Again, these have to be repeated 3 times a day for life. 4 commandments of honor, the bridge between honor and reality, the supremacy of honor. I'm going to go through them really quickly for you. The 4 commandments of honor are, I wish you well. I take full responsibility for co-creating my reality and my problems. I'm grateful for the power I gained from hardship. And one of 2, either I seek always to serve my highest values, or if you believe in God as I do, God, your wish is my only wish. Boom. Then you take a pledge to repeat them for a lifetime. Then there's a bridge from honor to reality to increase the probability you're going to use those commandments of honor. What's the bridge? What's the most honorable thing to think, say, and do? So you say the 4 commandments of honor, and then you repeat the bridge. That'll take you the distance. The repetition is preparation for application. Awesome, but you got to make a lifetime commitment. By the way, the pledge to be a disciple of honor, have people raise their right hand and they say, as a disciple of honor, I pledge myself for all the days of my life to the 4 commandments of honor. And I'll teach them to those I love. I'll repeat them every morning, afternoon, and evening, and I'll listen to myself recite them. Powerful, changes lives right there, taking a pledge. Now, to be a devotee of honor involves bringing it to the world for a more just society. So a disciple of honor is bringing it to ourselves, our loved ones. A devotee of honor is bringing it to the world. So the supremacy, and agreeing to repeat the supremacy of honor code once a day. The supremacy of honor code is this: honor before pride. And that's going to help you a lot. When you're putting honor before pride, that's going to stop a lot of the bad vibes on the streets or in the house or anywhere. Honor before pride. Honor before anger. There's a whole anger management right there. Honor before anger. Honor before sex. Honor before money. Most people will sell their honor for sex and money, but not a devotee of honor. No, no. Honor before all that. Honor before fear. Honor before everything. Honor before life itself. So supremacy of honor code goes this way. To be a devotee of honor goes this way. As a devotee of honor, I pledge myself all the days of my life to the supremacy of honor code. And I'll bring it to the world for a more just society. So there you have just a quick review of the system. Now, I refuse to allow you to control my anger ever. That's a law of honor. There's 25 of those laws. Now, honor before pride, honor before life itself. If you want to just abbreviate, if you're just using that, I recommend the whole code of all 7. But honor before pride, honor before life itself, because most of the upsetness you have is going to be over your ego, over your pride. So honor before pride, honor before life itself. Now, also when you're putting honor before pride, you'll be able to apologize, because if your pride comes first, and many people will put pride before honor. They put their pride before everything. They put their ego, their vanity before everything. And once you put honor before pride, you can go, I apologize, please forgive me. Guess what? It's going to help you on the streets. It's going to help you wherever you are. And when you do it, you don't lessen yourself. It doesn't make you less of a man, less of a woman. Heck no. It makes you greater. The bigger man, the bigger woman could do that. A lesser person, they can't apologize. Their pride is just stuck. Never apologizing isn't strength, it's weakness. When we apologize, it's power. You're clearing out bad vibes out of your own psyche. That's huge. That's mental health. The title of today's talk has been Honor on the Streets. This is a code of honor that will uplift you all your lives, and we have the potential to have a legacy of honor to your children, to your loved ones, and for the world at large. It's awesome. Awesome way to live. You know, I'm making people 3 promises. Number 1, and it applies to you, applies to me. We will suffer. We will suffer. A lot. My first promise. Guaranteed. Any normal human being will suffer tremendously on earth in this life. Number 2, with the teachings of honor, it is possible to live totally honorably, to handle that suffering with honor. That I promise you, you can deal with that suffering with honor. That's a perfect lifestyle. Number 3, we will have much joy and happiness in our lives. We will have much joy and happiness in our lives. I promise you, those 3 are for you, for me, for all of us. Now, a lot of people, when they're suffering, feel there's something wrong with them, they're abnormal. Nobody else looks like they're suffering. Nobody else is going through this. Well, at 80 years old, I'm here to tell you, totally wrong idea. I'm here to tell you, as entertaining, as enjoyable as Disneyland is, hey, this may be Southern California, but it's not Disneyland. There's forms of suffering and pain that nobody told you about. And guess what? You're not alone. You're not alone. It's normal. That's huge, because people feel, gee, they're crazy, there's something wrong. I never saw people go through this. Sure you didn't. Ha! They hid it from you. They were smiling and pretending. No, they've been miserable at times. But without knowing the teachings of honor, most people can't deal with it honorably. They deal with it dishonorably. They'll hurt other people to relieve their own pain. Curse at them, do something bad to them, revenge, whatever, as a way to cope with their suffering. Of course, as a disciple of honor, and as a devotee of honor, that's not the path we go. Basically, honor is the path of no regrets, the path of no regrets. Awesome way to live. And it's been my pleasure to, one, live that way. For me to bring this to you, I had to bring it to myself first. I have not always lived with honor, and that certainly applies to me and to you and everybody you know, but I'll die with honor. That's doable. It doesn't mean you're not going to slip. I slip once in a while. Not often, but I do slip. And of course, the idea is to repent right away. It involves an apology or change of behavior or resolving not to do that again, whatever it is. That's living by the code of honor. Now, I'm going to open this up for comments, questions, anything that anybody wants to say. Tracy, what are your thoughts and feelings about what I've said?
I really like what you said about being honorable and living in a path of no regrets, because you're doing the honorable thing for you and for everyone else, and setting that example that when you are being honorable and live in that path of no regrets, with respect to people, it's just the right thing. It's just the right thing.
Well, that's really the bottom line of the payoff of this honor. Honor will be a path of no regrets, and sometimes you lose certain things. You lose certain options. Somebody might be really nasty to you, and maybe you could have mitigated some of that by being nasty back. Well, you lose that. You might have to say, hey, I'm talking to you with respect. I appreciate if you talk to me with respect. You're crossing a line. That's not acceptable. But you lose the option of cursing them, being nasty. You lose the option of trying to hurt them. Sometimes that can work against us, but it's still a path of no regrets. And honor is an end in itself. Well, at least to pain, suffering, or pleasure, that's not the point. It's an end in and of itself. Good point. Good point. Thanks, Tracy. Jay, any thoughts or comments?
Yeah, Doctor, if we had more honor on the streets, obviously the world would be a better place. I mean, as far as that goes, but what you had mentioned earlier, one of the most honorable things we can do is to put our pride in the back seat, because that's what most of our anger comes from. It's like you're referring to with the road rage, and if someone steals your spot in the grocery store parking lot or something. It's all about pride. If you just take a step back and realize, you know what, I did something wrong, and he's not attacking me, he's attacking what I did.
Well, the other thing is, that's a good point. And the other thing is, we put honor before pride. It could be the other person's fault. Let's say you're married and your wife is saying things that are wrong. You know she's wrong what she's saying, and you're willing to fight to the death because you're right. Well, then you go, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? So, being right is overrated. It really is. But if you put pride first, you'll fight to the death over a ridiculous point. You won't even remember what it was a week later. But meantime, you will kill her over it, or she will kill you over it. And so putting honor before pride, as a way of saying it, I'd rather be happy than right. I'd say, okay, well, maybe you are right. You don't have to lie about it and say you're right. So, well, maybe I thought it was this way, but hey, maybe you're right. If you can honestly say that, you want to be honest about it. Maybe you're right. So putting honor before pride, exactly the point. Excellent. Well, it's been my pleasure and my privilege to present these materials and to present these energies, and to present with you with my intention, which is to send really good energy and vibrations to you. That's really my intention. And that's my destiny, to be a part of that with you. Today, the title of today's presentation was Honor on the Streets.